Hey, everybody. Welcome to Moment of Clarity. First story, I have some news on Gill Bates. Gill Bates, you know, the tech billionaire, Gill Bates. I don't think we're allowed to say his actual name because I think the algorithm will make sure nobody sees the video. So just know that I have some info on Gill Bates. Good old Bates. You remember he invented the computer thing, or stole it, I think. And then now he's one of the richest people in the world, Gill Bates. You know Gill Bates. I don't know about saying his name. Who knows? But if you put it in the title, then it's fucked. They're not going to show it to anyone. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Thanks for joining me. Gill Bates. So you know he's getting divorced. That's been all over the news. From Belinda Tates. Gilinda Mates and Gill Bates. Okay. They're getting divorced, and a lot of the mainstream media is kind of being a little quiet on the reasons, but not all of the mainstream media. This is from Bloomberg, so this is no small outlet. This is a standard neoliberal garbage outlet, but every once in a while they get to the truth. Gill Bates' divorce talks started in 2019 on Pepstein Link. Probably shouldn't say his name either. Pepstein Link, the Wall Street Journal says. Gill Bates has long documented, although the mainstream media would almost never talk about it, ties to Jeffrey Epstein or Epri Jeffstein. He's on, lists of having met with him many times. I think even staying at his, he's acknowledged he'd stayed at his mansion or whatever here or there. I don't know if he's acknowledged going out to the secret island or whatever. But this shows that his wife did not think that Bill's actions with Epstein were on the up and up. I think that those of us who would say, oh, well, it's, Bill Gates is obviously connected to Epstein because he was involved in this text trafficking. He was doing text trafficking. Those of us who would talk about how, well, it's connected to Epstein. It must have to do with him sex trafficking. He was probably underage girls. That's what one could kind of assume. But the mainstream media would go, oh, no, Epstein was, a very wealthy man who had a lot of foundations he worked with, universities he worked with. So just because someone's connected to him doesn't mean that they were doing anything wrong. But here you have it, that even Gill Bates' wife thought, I think there is something going on here that is not just getting money from Epstein in order to, fund his foundation or whatever. I'll read a little bit of this. Melinda French Gates began working with divorce lawyers well over a year before her split with Bill Gates was announced last week, partly over concerns about her husband's dealings with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who suicided himself with a paper pajama suit alone in a cell, and all the cameras turned off and the guards were asleep. The 56-year-old spoke with Bloomberg, didn't say that part. The 56-year-old spoke with attorneys from several firms as early as October 2019, saying the marriage was irretrievably broken. The Journal reported Sunday, citing documents and people familiar with the matter. Her unease about her ex-husband's ties to Epstein dates back to at least 2013, the paper said. The New York Times reported in 2019 that the billionaire had met with Epstein several times and once stayed late at his New York townhouse. I wonder what time late is. The spokeswoman for Microsoft co-founder, said at the time that the meetings had centered on philanthropy. It was philanthropy. Epstein had died in jail 2 months prior while awaiting trial on federal charges related to sex trafficking. Yes, he died of completely not suspicious reasons. The divorce was negotiated during the pandemic, involving legal terms. But yeah, these and this also backs up everything else people have said about Epstein and about the sex trafficking empire he ran. He had very powerful people that he would invite on his private jet which Bill Clinton rode on something like 26 times. And several of those times did not even he even turned away his Secret Service, which a president or ex-president is never supposed to do. So if he doesn't even trust his Secret Service seeing what's going on in that flight, that says something. And so one of the people tied to this is Gill Bates. And also another article, which I don't have right here, was saying that Gill Bates had a long history of, before he was married, he would have these crazy, raging, borderline orgy parties with, he would hire a bunch of strippers to swim nude in his pool, and then he'd invite his friends over and tell them to get naked and everything. And here's the thing. I have no problem with really any of that. Like, if consenting adults want to get together and, swim around naked and shit, fucking free country. Should be. It's not really a free country. It's not at all a free country, but it should be. So if you want to do that, and honestly, if the strippers are consenting adults and they haven't been trafficked here, which some strippers have, and they are, making their own decision, and they're not harassed, and they get to make their own choices, can leave at any time, obviously, because if they can't, that's called kidnapping at the very least. If all those things are true, then fucking go to town. You guys do whatever you consenting adults want to do, you little fellas. You go have fun. You go shake your penises and vagina around. Have a good old time. Because I don't like when stories act like, oh my God, there were naked people getting together. Do what the fuck you want. But obviously, when it becomes at all exploitative, when there's at all sexual harassment or coercion or sex trafficking, or people are underage, obviously, all of those things I am not cool with. So if Bill wanted to have rager parties, whatever. But if Bill was on Epstein's sex trafficking express with fucking 14-year-old girls that I was going to say, were coerced to be on there. But if they're 14, it doesn't matter whether they were coerced or not. If you're 14, you can't make your own choice as to whether to jump on the Lolita Express and go have sex with businessmen. At least not in this country or in Britain or in most countries. So anyway, there's a little more about Gill Bates, which I think this is important because there's been this massive push to make Gill Bates this new fucking hero, right? This new, we all have to worship him. We all have to, he's going to save the world. He's everything, which I hate billionaire worship to begin with. Billionaires are sociopaths at minimum. So even if they're not sex trafficking, or raping women. So it's like billionaires are fucking sociopaths. Don't worship them. They are not your heroes. They are awful human beings without exception. Without exception. No one should have that much wealth. And yet our mainstream media has been pumping Bill Gates or Gill Bates. He's been known to go by Gill Bates. I've been pumping him up for fucking years now as like some sort of goddamn hero. And apparently these stories of his womanizing and stuff has been around for a long time, but the New York Times and others have worked to protect him. And again, if it's consenting adults, then whatever. But if it's you, cheating on your wife, possibly with underage girls, which is technically rape, and then running around and saying, hey, I am going to morally tell other people how to live. I'm going to tell other populations, other cultures how to live, what they should be doing. Like Bill Cosby ran around doing, right? He obviously was raping women. I don't know that Gill Bates raped anybody, but Bill Cosby was known for moralizing, for, running around and saying, hey, you black kids, this is Bill Cosby speaking. He used to say, you black kids, you need to pull up your pants. That was his thing. One of his things on Oprah, he would say that shit. And it's like, you motherfucker are one of the worst human beings in the world, and you're telling other people how to live, other people how to behave, other people how to dress. So anyway, that's why this is double infuriating. If you were to find out some person that had never done any of this stuff, maybe an example is like the similar stuff has come out about Kevin Spacey, right? He was on Epstein's flight a bunch, and he's sexually harassed, at least. I don't know if he was accused of rape by any young men, but he was clearly accused of sexual assault. And it, to me, I'm not doing videos on Kevin Spacey because, yeah, that's fucked up. But that's the mainstream media is not running around telling us Kevin Spacey is going to save us. that Kevin Spacey is the guy we should look up to and worship. I'm not saying people can't cover that story. I'm just saying that's why, as a political commentator, I think the Gill Bates story is fucking important. Because he's a fucked up human being, and yet we're told to worship him, and we're told that he's going to save us, and that he's going to run everything, and in so many ways, and it's pretty awful. Okay, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you want to become a member of the Common Censored, that's our podcast. If you want to become a member of Common Censored, go to liberapay.com/Lee Camp, LIBERAPAY.com/Lee Camp. And please share this. Please let people know. I try and do these every single weekday, except sometimes. And they're at leecamp.com. We're switching to a new website at leecamp.com, so it's looking more interesting already, but there's some glitches that we're still fixing. So if you have a problem there, I am sorry. But all right, wrap it up there. Really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Keep fighting.